The initial text chain was probably 2017 and GRLSWIRL started in 2018.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like 6 months of gathering. Yeah, and I think like my original skate community was at the Cove in Santa Monica and then Venice. So I was at Venice Skate Park every day trying to figure out that stinking snake run. I was a total beginner, total kook, and people were amazing. You know, it wasn't just women that were amazing, it was men that were amazing, like taught me so much. We're not like mansplaining, but like offering support, offering to cheer me on. Like I just feel like the Venice space to be a beginner in is actually like people are nervous about it. It's like one of the coolest spaces to be a beginner in my experience. People have been awesome. When I started working in farming, I was like, oh, this is going to be the sickest community, like nature lovers. It's like my people, like it's going to be awesome. And it wasn't. It was like I was in the south of France where people had so much money and it wasn't about community. It was about money at the end of the day, you know? And then I got a job offer and moved to LA and was working in film. And again, I was like, damn, I thought there'd be community in film, and it was money and politics and bullshit. And then I was in LA and I got on a skateboard and I was like, what is this? You know, I went from feeling so like kind of like lost in my life and really fragile and like small and petite and cute to like badass, you know, instantly. And I moved to LA. I didn't really know a lot of people, and I instantly had friends. Like getting on a skateboard, wherever I went, I was able to make friends.
We're rolling.
Okay. Roll a second.
Guys, welcome to the Dreamrun podcast. This is episode 13, and we're just having a lot of fun here. We got Lucy from GRLSWIRL today, and we just want to thank her. She's carved out some time for us.
Carved out some time.
She carved it out. She got on her carver and carved it out. Yeah, so super stoked to have you here. I'm like, yeah, we've just been talking workout, skate, travel.
Well, actually, the last time I saw you, I hit your car.
Whoa. Actually, yeah. Well, I saw you once after that, but yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that.
I think it's the first fender bender I've ever been in my life. I was just looking, and I remember I was driving, and I'm always like, I text and drive sometimes because I'm a double, triple tasker.
Right.
It's a bad girl thing I do, but I try not to do it. But I was not texting. I was looking out the window at the, like, what bands were playing at the Lincoln, whatever the fuck.
Venice West.
Yeah. And, yeah, little did I know the traffic was stopping in front of me and slammed into your car.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. So I was driving down Lincoln on, like, a dark... When was that?
I don't know.
Oh, that must have been last winter, like around January, December.
Yeah. I remember, yeah.
It was super dark, but it was only like 5:30. And I just get like rear-ended, and I come out, and it's like, I'm like, Lucy?
It's the first fender bender I've been in, and I was... Yeah, I was not texting and driving. But like, yeah, I was looking at the Venice West, who was playing.
Right.
So distracted, slammed into... Yeah. Anyway, gotta pay attention on the road. But I got my first like nicer vehicle, which was a big step for me because I've been always having, I call it Hotel Prius, and she just is like my little adventure vehicle. And now I have like a real girl, womanly car.
Oh, is it woman?
It's like an adult.
Oh, is it womanly?
It's like an adult.
Oh, so you had
thing.
like a girl car, like, and then now you have like a woman car?
Yeah.
Wow,
that's how I felt. Yeah. I grew
up
basically.
That's a good feeling.
It put me into like a different level. I have like leather seats.
Oh, leather seats.
I have heat
That's
warmers.
A big move. That's a power move. Wow. All right. Hey, good for you, you know?
Thank you.
Helps you feel good, level up.
I like look through my sunroof and I'm like, I've made it in this world.
I've made it. I'm in the SUV with the leather.
Yeah, it's really fancy. It's used, but it's a big deal for me.
It's a huge deal. Yeah, we gotta love nice things. You know, make our life smooth and easy. So, let's see so you rear-ended me, and that was a bit of a relief, I must say.
Okay,
I was like, because I like knew you. I mean, I like had your number, and I was like, okay, just text me. Like, do you need a ride? And like, you know, I guess you were like a block from either
close.
Your house or your boyfriend's house.
Yeah,
or something.
super close. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, all right, text me. And normally you're like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Like, you know, definitely the thought crosses your mind, like, are they going to try to, you know, hide from this or fight this?
Yeah.
And there was like, I don't know if it was you or like Squid, but she's like, someone was like, yeah, like you stopped short and or whatever, which I did, but there was like a, there was like one of those like intersections with the like don't stop here thing.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, like I want to leave this.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Semantics. We got it all taken care of.
Good old insurance. IP insurance. Yes.
Initially though, like I wanted to have you obviously just to like, you know, talk shop and like skating and different things like that. But when we sat down for coffee with my friend David, who's like in the TV business, you and I got to talking, and you have a really just kind of interesting like linear story to getting to where you are now, and that was really intriguing to me. I remember sitting with you like, wow, I want to hear the rest of this. Right? Do you remember that? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, do you care to share anything about that? Like you just like worked didn't you work for Cannes Film Festival or Tribeca or something? Yeah.
I did a lot of jobs.
Yeah, I mean, there was some kind of like continuity that you had strung together for me. Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah, so I'm from like Woodstock, New York, like upstate.
Right.
And my whole childhood I was dancing ballet pretty professionally from a young age. I had a cool regular childhood. I had the best parents ever. Was in nature all the time. My dad's a musician. My mom's an artist. Amazing friends. But I was like deep into ballet. So it was like I didn't really care about school. I was so focused because I was like, oh, I'm going to be a professional ballerina. Mm-hmm. Then I went to college on full scholarship for ballet. And I was there, and I remember like seeing some jazz dancers. Jazz dancers and ballet dancers have kind of like, it's kind of like skateboarders and like a BMXer like at a skate park. It's like we're in the same space, but like we're so different, and it's not the same thing. And I remember seeing the jazz dancers come into ballet class, which they typically hate. They came in and they were so happy. And I remember going over and saying like, hey, like, we hate this. Like, we all hate ballet, right? Like, we're all just, and they're like, no, we love it. And I started asking other people, I was like, how do jazz dancers love ballet? And then I started asking ballet dancers, and they're like, we love ballet. I was like, I thought we were all just competitive. We don't actually like being here. Like, this is the hardest thing it's the hardest thing I've ever, if your finger's off, like, you fail things. Like, it's unbelievable.
Right.
You're doing, like, fouettes and jumping through the air and doing, and if like one little minute thing is off, it's bad, you know. The competition level is so high, and I just realized in that moment like everyone loved this, and I was just really competitive, and I never processed that. And so I decided to quit. My parents, who were like, we don't have a lot of money, my whole life, were like, are you sure you want to be a dancer? Are you sure you want to dance? Like, they would stop and be like, we're spending all of our money on you. And every time I'm like, for sure, like, I'm going to be a professional ballerina, like, no doubt. And I had to call them and tell them, hey, I'm going to give up my scholarship and I'm quitting ballet, because I realized this isn't even what I love. Like, I didn't even think about it. I think I was just on the track since I'm so little, and I didn't even process the option of it being something that you want to do your whole, like, I didn't get it, you know? And so I went on this mission for the next like 10 years of my life to find out what is it that I love. Like, if I'm going to do a job, I need to love it, you know? So in college, every semester I interned at a different thing. So clothing company, music venue, a radio show, Red Bull, Music Academy. I interned with a DJ at a music amphitheater. I ended up interning at Cannes Film Festival. And I was just on this hunt to find like where I fit and what I love, you know? So I like had a lot of experience in a lot of spaces, but I wasn't really like taken by anything. And then I think when I was at Cannes Film Festival, I was the first time where I was like, oh, I really love film. Like, I was raised really deeply into the film scene with my parents. They're just like huge film buffs and music buffs. And I just really wanted to be in film, but I was like, there's no entrance in. And I remember I was at the internship. All the interns were doing what they were told, which is like pass out these dumb flyers. And I was like, I'm not going to follow the rules. Like, I know what you do to get a job. Like, it's about meeting people. So I found the owner of this company, befriended her. I emailed her every week for months until she emailed me back and was like, somehow you're not annoying, but you're so tenacious. Like, I'm going to give you a job.
Wow.
And I was like, great. So I started doing sales for this film finance company. All while I was working odd jobs. I was living in New York City at this time. I had just moved back from studying abroad in the French Riviera, which I like paid out of pocket. I'm still paying off loans for because it had the film opportunity for Cannes. That's why I chose that spot.
Okay.
And so I started doing this, and I was working at Lucky Strike Lanes, a bowling alley.
Oh, rad.
Not rad,
No.
but I was working at a bowling alley
Sounds
while
cool.
like doing film sales. So like I would be able to, if I sold a big sponsorship, I get to go to the film festival. So I would like be working at a bowling alley, and then I'd be like VIP at Shanghai Film Festival for 2 weeks. And then I'd be, hustling, freaking cleaning dishes like at the end of my shift. And then I would be at like Cannes Film Festival with the people who ran the film industry. Like I was just always chameleoning in these spaces. And so I did that for a long time. I always worked on this film company on the side. I ended up moving to SF, working at Yelp. Then I moved to the south of France and had a farm. I was a farmer for like 2 years. I was also I taught English in the Monaco school district, which was so random as well. And this whole time I was always working in film. So I was always like jumping in all these weird worlds back and forth. And I think the whole time I was like, of course, searching for what I loved. But I think I was just searching for this feeling of community because I had it growing up. And then as I traveled the world and started doing new things and left ballet and left things, I always felt like this lack of collective unity around me. Like I always just felt like I was lonely in this like random world that I was in because I moved a lot and did a lot of things. And when I started working in farming, I was like, oh, this is going to be the sickest community, like nature lovers. It's like my people, like it's going to be awesome. And it wasn't. It was like I was in the south of France where people had so much money, and it wasn't about community. It was about money at the end of the day, And then I got a job offer and moved to LA and was working in film. And again, I was like, damn, I thought there'd be community in film, and it was money and politics and bullshit. And then I was in LA and I got on a skateboard. So my boyfriend taught me to skate when I first had moved here. I thought you had to be like fucking Tony Hawk to get on a skateboard. Like I don't think I've ever seen a skater other than Tony Hawk. Like I didn't even conceptualize what a skater would look like outside of someone doing like airs. Like I didn't even know what that was because I didn't grow up in California. I don't think I ever saw a skater in real life. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I got on a skateboard and I was like, what is this? I went from feeling so like kind of like lost in my life and really fragile and like small and petite and cute to like badass, instantly. And I moved to LA. I didn't really know a lot of people, and I instantly had friends. Like getting on a skateboard, wherever I went, I was able to make friends. And it just like changed my life so quick. Like it was this like light bulb went off that I was like, oh my God, this is real community right here. Like this is the whole thing I've been searching for is skateboarding. And although I was surrounded by community at Venice Skate Park and really in the spaces, just like learning and trying, like I didn't have a lot of women around me. So anytime I saw a girl, I would just like chase her down, be like, hey, this is weird, but like, do you want to add your like phone number to my text chain? I called it GRLSWIRL. And I had this like long text chain of all these random people I've just kind of like found. And one night we met up and we decided to skate together, and that was the beginning of the largest women's skate crew in the world, which is crazy. So that was the linear transgression from like searching for what I loved, searching for community. And at the end of the day, like I found community and what I loved from just honestly doing all those paths. I think I just spoke at USC the other day, and I always talk to like 20-year-olds. I feel like that's like an audience I love to talk to, because I remember being in my 20s and being so desperate to know what I was supposed to do with my life. It was like, who am I? What am I doing? What's my job? What's my life? What's my passion? It's like, just do shit. Like how you're doing this podcast, like trying DJing, trying shit. It's like the more you do, the more you learn what you like, but also you learn what you will never do again. And I have a long list of things I will never do again. But I also have this long list of like just so many different weird talents and abilities that are from doing weird ass jobs like waitressing all the way over to farming, like, and many in between. And I think if you can just keep on that path, you find it. So yeah, I could speak to 20-year-olds all day. I
Absolutely.
love talking to them. I'm like, you don't have to stress. I stressed so much when I was that age. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to be able to kind of like, I guess, alchemize that pain into like wisdom, or dark into light, like just like confusion into like clarity. And it sounds like you want to give back, which is really amazing.
For big part of my life. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I was actually just kind of curious to back up a little bit and hear about what was the year of this initial text chain meetup with all the girls.
The initial text chain was probably 2017, and GRLSWIRL started in 2018.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like 6 months of gathering. Yeah, and I think like my original skate community was at the Cove in Santa Monica, and then Venice. So I was at Venice Skate Park every day, trying to figure out that stinking snake run. I was a total beginner, total kook, and people were amazing. And it wasn't just women that were amazing, it was men that were amazing, like taught me so much. We're not like mansplaining, but like offering support, offering to cheer me on. Like I just feel like the Venice space to be a beginner in is actually, like, people are nervous about it. It's like one of the coolest spaces to be a beginner in my experience. People have been awesome. Like if you come in with humility and gratitude, like people are more than willing to help you, which has been like the coolest thing. And yeah, that was the early days before GRLSWIRL. I was like on my Carver wearing Brandy Melville, like, yeah, trying to roll into the snake
That's
line.
hilarious. Brandy Melville. Wow.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend take me there once. Oh boy. That's funny. That's like, okay. Yeah. I really appreciate that message, because I see that a lot at the park and in the local community. There certainly are those outliers in certain situations that can obviously happen just anywhere you go. But generally, I see a lot of the women being looked out for. I see a lot of just, I do see a lot of like community and everyone just wanting to say what's up. And a lot of those kids are just kind of hanging at the park because, some of them don't really have a good home to be at. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's really cool. It's definitely a bit of a melting pot from all different walks of life. So that's really cool to see that, and that you were supported in those ways. Would you say there was a moment when you kind of knew that you sort of had something? I mean, obviously this whole thing started from, that would have been 7 years ago now. And you've just quit your job. Was that this year? So
Crazy.
That's a huge milestone.
Yeah, wild.
But was there kind of a point when you thought, we might have something here, whether it's a certain brand reaching out or some collaboration? Like, was there a moment you think where that happened?
I think.
Or even.
Yeah, I don't think
100 girls showing up, like,
yeah,
whatever that would have been.
I think I always knew there was something. I didn't know particularly like the end goal when, like, there was, I still think to this day, like, the end goal isn't to be super rich and make a lot of money or have like a lot of fame from this. Like, the end goal for everyone involved with GRLSWIRL is to change the world through skate. Like, and it's very clear that it's possible through the stuff we're doing, but it's not like, there wasn't a moment where I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be big. It was more like the impact that we're going to have on the world is going to be drastic. Like, I can see it happening. I think the biggest one for us is when we first went down to Tijuana. We were teaching refugees there for 2 different trips. And we were going with a girl who was Mexican who was working at like 3 different shelters of refugees who were like coming through to hopefully to America through Tijuana. And we went there and we were with like a group of boys who were like, I think they were like 8 to 15 or maybe 8 to 16, like something like younger, but not adults and not children. Like, they were kind of in that middle area, and they all had a single backpack to their name. Like, that's all they had. The stories were insane. Things where, I mean, they're escaping brutal violence. Like, their house was burnt down or their parents were shot. And by foot, they got to Tijuana, like, through all, like, I mean, against every odd, physically made it there. And all they have is a backpack. Like, nothing else. They don't have a phone. They don't have anything. And I remember we taught them to skate, and they were so solemn when we got there and so shy. And by the end, they're shrieking and like making those like teenage boy noises where they're like, ah! Like making like silly little noises.
Yeah.
And that was a really profound moment in my life where I was like, oh, this is why I'm on this earth. Like, I know why I'm here. Like, it's obvious. I sobbed the next 2 days. I was so emotional about it. I just like, I didn't experience that face to face before. I lived at the border of Monaco and, or I guess, France and Italy, and I experienced small doses of the refugee crisis. But I think like being so up close to it and seeing how lovely these people were was like such a shock. And then seeing like what skateboarding gave them. Like, I saw them went from feeling hopeless to being like, I'm a skater. Like, I saw the click. And I realized that, like, the work that we're doing has the power to change everything. And of course, it can change someone's life as a refugee. It changed, like, my life as a white privileged girl in America. Like, it has this switching power in people where, like, they suddenly feel empowered and, like, they belong and they have an identity. And, yeah, it was pretty, like, life-shifting in so many ways. And then we started going down to more refugee camps, and then we started teaching mentorships all over the world and going to El Salvador and the Philippines and all over teaching kids. And we teach in Compton I think once a month for 2 years now. And we have a huge skate mentorship program that's been a part of GRLSWIRL since I think like the first month, which is awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. But like GRLSWIRL is many things. It's a business, it's a community, it's a nonprofit. But like I think the driving force between creating all of those things is like, if we can use this to change the world, then we're going to do it in any means possible. It's like we're using a business to fund it. We're using a nonprofit to fuel it. But at the end of the day, it's like this is a community of people who all care about using skateboarding for change. And that's like our mission. Okay.
Tons to unpack. But really, yeah, it's a lot of detail, and you certainly know how to articulate what's been going on. You're living it, embodying it. Well, I just had a question. So I'm just curious now, are there two branches of GRLSWIRL as far as, you just said community, business, nonprofit. Is it a nonprofit? The whole entity is just one entity?
It's a social enterprise. So it's kind of, think like Warby Parker.
Sure.
Or Tom's Shoes. It's the same thing. So they have a for-profit business, and then a percentage of their profits go into their nonprofit to fund the work that they're doing in their nonprofit.
Amazing.
We had a fiscal sponsor for years, so we were acting as a social enterprise with a fiscal sponsor rather than our own nonprofit. To have a for-profit LLC and a nonprofit 501c3 is like insane, and there's only a few of us working, and we've all just started paying ourselves a few months ago. So every supporter and people who've helped us along the way were like, do not start your own 501, go through a fiscal sponsor. So Poseidon Foundation was our sponsor, so they acted as our nonprofit. So we would be donating X amount of dollars to our nonprofit, or the nonprofit work we're doing, like mentorships, chapter building, or even to donate to other nonprofits. So like we've raised over $60,000 for other nonprofits outside of our own. So Safe Place for Youth, Poseidon Foundation, Harvest Home, the list goes on and on. We've raised a lot of money. And then each chapter does their own fundraising and their own nonprofit work. And so that's like a part of the whole process of what GRLSWIRL is that. But like at the end of and we also, I think we've been working with sea trees for a year. So every time we sell a board, we plant 2 mangrove trees in Baja. So we have all these like give backs like throughout all of GRLSWIRL, and it's because all the co-founders since day one are like, we're not trying to like, we don't want to just be a dumb brand in the world, like another freaking brand selling stupid stuff. It's like, if we're going to be making money, like we have to be putting it towards the right things in the right part of the world. And yeah, everyone's like been so supportive the whole way.
Amazing.
The whole team.
Yeah, it sounds like that seems like it's good to hear that kind of behind the scenes structure, because from the outside looking in, you see the impact, and then you also see the just a brand like selling goods and some experiences as well. And so it's interesting to hear that, because you're absolutely right. If the point is to make an impact, it sounds like you found the best vehicle to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the best structure for you guys.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Cool. Yeah, I know you said you weren't doing it for the fame, but I've definitely just in my travels, I travel a bit for surfing and stuff, just chasing. And we were talking about before, like, just, yeah, I didn't really surf that much around here anymore, but that's another story. I find women all the time that know you guys from social media, and it's super cool. Like a friend I met just recently in Oaxaca, Loli, she's a really rad like Argentinian artist, and she had like started skating and telling me, I'm going to skate and all this stuff, and she didn't speak English, but she was like, I follow the girls in Venice and stuff, and like I was like, damn, that's rad. And she was like going to skate, and I mean, it happens over and over and over, especially there's a lot of like overlap with the surfing and like people hanging out in those zones. So yeah, just how has that been, just traveling? I mean, I believe that you guys were just in the Philippines and on a bit of a tour, and being so welcomed and well received. Like how does that go for you?
It's it's a lot. It's exciting. It's wild. I've never, like, it's the first time I've experienced fandom is when I went to Asia, where people would like cry and shake, and like,
oh wow,
I was signing autographs all day, every day, and people freaked out when they saw Val, and it was just wild. It was like, they didn't just know me, they knew different team riders, and yeah, it's really crazy. And it's, I get a little overwhelmed by it because I'm newer to that experience, and I'm here to like make everyone feel welcomed, and I don't want them ever to feel nervous and uncomfortable to be welcomed into this space that's like for all of us. So I go over the top, and I'm like, oh, I just didn't talk to you for hours, and I started actually getting like these weird migraines after those moments, like skates where I was overextending, and I think I'm just like, I overdo it, like I get too like invested in those moments. So I've been working on boundaries with my therapist specifically for that, because I think I go into like this mode where I want to like rescue people, like it's like a rescue response. And so I've been really working on like doing less of that, but it's been crazy. It's been really crazy. But I think that like the people that love GRLSWIRL are rad. Like they're not like you said, cool artists from Argentina. Like there's rad people who like GRLSWIRL, because I think people who like GRLSWIRL are people who like community and women and skateboarding. Like it's not like they're just there for like liking an influencer or whatever the heck. Like they're really cool, When I talk to athletes or managers, I just say like, how do you connect with your community? Like stop talking to people. Like make a space where you can be inviting into those, like with those people. But yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's definitely new. And I don't think I don't know if it's getting smaller. I think it's getting bigger every day. And I'm definitely the one pushing on the gas. But I'm just trying to like manage what that looks like as I get older and more of a homebody.
Right. Understandable. And it sounds like you're trying to figure out how to integrate better into like, okay, like I'm boots on the ground, and I love that. Simultaneously, like, it's not sustainable. It might not be sustainable for me to be flying around the world, half the year, or so and I'm sure you'll figure that out as you've figured out many other things with you and your advisors. A couple of things. So tying into the fame, I mean, just for lack of a better term, or people knowing you, you're connected. They feel connected to you guys. They feel relatable. It's like, oh wow, they aren't throwing 900s or surfing a 50-foot wave. Like these guys are just like cruising, having fun, and spreading a good message. Let's talk about like, how have you used social media to kind of amplify this? Like
such a deep subject.
Is
so many
it?
Layers. Yeah, just because like I do social strategy forever. Like that's like my job.
Okay.
In life. I'm good at it.
Brace yourselves, guys. Grab the popcorn. Grab a beverage. Here it
I
comes.
have so many thoughts, like on the moral standpoints of it.
Right. I did want to ask a little bit about the negativity too, because I've seen you and some of our friends get wrapped up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
People hiding behind their phone and being really mean.
Yeah. We have been very lucky to experience almost none of that.
Okay.
It's very rare. But I have seen it happen with more of the core skating people. Like Audrey has to deal with it all the time. She's more in core skating. We're not in core skating.
Okay.
We're not core. We're like the opposite. And we're not serving, and we're not like, we're just in such a weird space that we've attracted, honestly, like mostly positivity, which is really crazy. We had done some stuff with the barracks, and Steve was like, let's do more stuff. And I was like, I don't think I want to. Like, the barracks community are not going to be nice to us. Like, I don't think they're going to, like, people love what we're doing and accept it and are stoked on it. But like, people online are not nice in general. And like, right. I don't want to.
You know what's a crazy place?
Where?
TikTok.
Yes.
TikTok is a crazy place. It's
wild and crazy.
Well, like
I love it.
The stuff that goes on in TikTok, I'm like, whoa. I don't really mess around over there much, but I have a few clips up of the show, and my goodness, some of the comments.
There are comments.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Instagram.
My favorite part of TikTok is the comments. I go on there mostly for the comments.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just real. It's so real.
Yeah, I think Instagram is really attached to an individual typically, so less people are like reluctant to just like come out and just say something strangers. Crazy. Yeah, but TikTok's like user 61927 and he's just like saying the craziest stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's facts. Yeah. There's some crazy shit, but there's also like trends that happen with commenting, and like there's words. It's just like there's a whole language and style of talking that has come out of comments on TikTok. I love TikTok. Okay. But yeah, it's fucked up. There's faces and all these things that are like scary stuff. From a social media strategist standpoint, I would say I'm a good CEO. I'm a good skater. I'm a great social strategist. Like, I'm an actual expert. I know exactly what to do to make things go viral. I understand it inside and out. I feel like I'm at the top of my game in a lot of ways for that. And I get offers to do job offers weekly from big brands to do big projects. And I say no, because I can make a brand in my sleep at this point. Like, I know how to do branding. I do most of our creative. I choose all the photos. I do most of the videos. Like, I've been the visual person behind GRLSWIRL along with some of the co-founders. It's kind of an integration of all of our styles, but I'm the one who's approving and editing and like clearing every piece of clothing and style and everything that fits within GRLSWIRL. And I've curated that to fit this like image that I feel inspires me, and that has in turn inspired other people. So like, I think all day it's like you can make brands and go on and think about branding, but it gets really empty and like boring. And I'm like, I woke up one day and I was like, I don't want to just be making brands. Like, I don't want to just be selling. I don't want to just be like, I was selling products for brands through my social work, that like social media and stuff. That was like, I don't care about this. Like, no part of me cares. And yeah, I just was like, I want to be using this talent I have for good. Like, I want to be focused only on GRLSWIRL for this and not anything else. And so that's what's been really cool for me, is like taking this thing I know how to do really well and communicating it and being able to, I call it packaging, like an experience. Like right now we're doing an experience. How do you package this podcast to get people to actually be interested in it? I know exactly from everything we just said, as I was talking, I was like, oh, this is the soundbite that would work. Like, if you put it in a 30-second post with this, I know that it would work. Like, I understand watching things happen. I'm like, oh, right now, film that, write this on it. And that's what people are interested in. Like, I understand the packaging of experiences. And to know that, you're constantly having to be on. You're constantly having to be, like, in the experience, but also, like, watching the experience. Sure. And what it does for me as a human, as like a business person, as a friend, as all these things, is like, it's hard for me to turn that part of my brain off, and I have to make conscious efforts to do so. So for example, like what I say about social media is it is gotten to thousands of people's, GRLSWIRL has been in front of thousands of people around the world on a daily basis. Like, we grow, we have a GRLSWIRL online. It's like an online version of GRLSWIRL where people can like find their friends who are skaters anywhere near them. And it's grown, I think, like 100 people a day for like months, like nonstop. People are every day finding us, saying you changed my life. Like people come up to me and say, Girls World changed my life just from watching it online. Big thing in the Philippines was like, we don't see girls skating together like this. We don't see girls together. Women are pinned against each other since birth. Like we're told to compare ourselves. So seeing what Girl Swirl is really, it's the reason it got so popular was because people saw this new image of what skating was, what girls were, what friendship was, what community looked like through what these little packaged moments, I've curated that are already really happening in real life. But, it's like, I'm sure some of the coolest people, they don't even have social media. It's like, I've been around communities where it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I look at their socials and they don't know what they're doing and no one can understand how cool it is. I've seen brands that are insane on social and the coolest people, they look so rad online, and you meet them in person, you're like, what is this? Like, there's both sides of the coin. Girl Swirl really, truly is rad in real life and rad online, and it's a result of like me being really good at social media and my team being really good at community building, like all of us doing this as a group. And so what that's created is this like beautiful echo chamber of like celebration and women, and we've gotten through to all these different spaces that aren't just skating or surfing. It's like we've really reached a lot of the world through this thing through social media. But what that means as an individual is like everything matters. Like this shit matters. Like every post fucking matters. All these moments, every moment I'm around, I have to document it because I know this can inspire that one girl to get on a board and it'll change her life. It's like my brain goes in that circle. But at the same time, it's like people forget in 4 seconds. Social media moves so fast, faster than ever. And at the end of the day, it's like in a day they're going to forget about this. So it also nothing matters. So everything matters and nothing matters all the time with social media. And the person who's like in the center of it, watching all of it, deciding what to post, where to post. I had to like make a decision. Like I'm on this road of like everything matters all the time. Like my inner system is like, everything matters all the time. I need to be on. So what I started doing is turning social media off on the weekends. I have 3 days off, 4 days on now. It's been about like 2 months I do that. And then I've done it in like little intermittent versions.
Okay.
And I just like try to pass on my job sometimes to people. I hired a photographer to come in and do social specifically and photos. So she's like specializing in taking, like, I don't have to go to every group. I was leading the group skate with a megaphone, leading 100 people, the energy of 100 people, and documenting the whole social
right.
while I was there, and managing my team, which I have 8 paid team riders, and I have to make sure they're all okay. So it was like ridiculous. It was silly. So now I'm like trying to get more help and people coming in, and like it's been really good. But I think social media is like this epic thing. It's gonna change the world, but it also doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. And like that balance was like took years to figure out for me. So that's like my deep. That's why I said there's a lot to say with that, because it's like it's not as simple as like social has been lit for us, but it also is detrimental to my mental health for a long time.
Definitely several questions and points came up, and it seems like you have a lot of thoughts on this. So about the mental health stuff, or just being present in general, how have you had to, because without elaborating too much on just my thoughts, just what's your experience been with just mental health and being present and but simultaneously knowing that this message that you're carrying is going to benefit, right?
For sure.
So can you unpack that a little?
Yeah. I, for sure, in the recent years, as Girl Swirl has grown and our events have grown, we have Swirl Fest and shut down the whole street under the Venice sign. There's 1,000 people that show up, and there's like 90K of sponsors, and I'm managing all sorts. It's a good time. It's heavy shit.
Yeah, and I'm just chilling.
Yeah, the stakes are stakes get really high. A lot of the things I'm doing, we're managing huge Roxy Girl Swirl shoe. I'm directing it. Like the stakes get so high, and everyone's around me congratulating me, and I noticed I wasn't even processing. So I tend to disassociate in those moments. It's like my thing of like rescuing people, making sure everyone around me is okay, is like I physically forget my body, which is like a very weird thing to experience. And so I know this about myself. I have tools. I've been working with it for the past few years to like ground myself in those moments. But as I'm like on a retreat, and then I'm on the tour, and then I'm at an event and on a photo shoot and at a podcast, it's like it grows every day. So what I found is having my habits. So like every day I do breath work. I always try to either do like I either surf or work out like every single day. And I journal like a lot. So like if I say I was disassociating this day for some fucking reason because I was overwhelmed, like I reflect on it and am able to process what I experienced and be grateful and like feel the emotions that I just wasn't able to really do that day because I was in this like work mode. It's my way of solving it. I don't know if it's perfect. I would prefer to be fully present in the moment at all times, but yeah, it's just not how my body and brain like work right now. But
interesting. Yeah, you
gotta work with what you got, and I feel like I've built my mental health toolkit for years, and it matters so much to me. I like very vocal about that to my community. We start our meetings with breathing, like things, breath work and grounding and being aware of your body and all these things, like they matter to me. I feel like teaching skateboarding is about being intentional with your body and your space and where you are. Like it's not just about like ripping. It's Girl Swirl, the way we teach and the way we do things is like a lot of people are coming in with so much fear. So yeah, just try to like approach skateboarding and building a business and all these things the same way I've been approaching everything else in my life, which is like doing it, fucking going for it, trying shit, and then like reflecting after and being like, how do I fix this? How do I be better? Like, how do I take care of myself? Like, it's just been every day this like move of like figuring it out. Sometimes things will happen. I'm like, I'm just figuring it out. Like, there's only so much you can do.
Sure. So I guess probably one last question about the social media side, and essentially what I'm hearing from you is that Girl Swirl, your own socials, your team rider socials are very integrated.
Yeah.
Like what you see is what you feel when they meet you, when people meet you or know you, etc. For the most part. I've been doing this myself where I noticed that as my community was growing the past couple years, people were super caught off guard with some of the conversations that I would have with them, like spirituality, yoga, emotional health, mental health, just different things. They were super surprised. And I kind of realized like, I think that on Instagram, I may have presented myself as like a dude with a Harley and that surfs big waves. And so there's this level of like, oh, this is just like a bro and like da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But then we meet and they feel me, what I'm embodying and what I talk about. And they're like, wait, huh? Or like, this is, so a little bit of my, what advice would you give to someone to kind of help if that wants to, with their brand or, that wants to integrate more? Like an athlete or because I don't necessarily use social media as a business, actually not at all, but those are the conversations I like to have. And so I sort of realized like, oh, like I'm sort of it's almost like a wall that I was like putting up, and I was like, I want to, it's cool to like get the clip and like get the shot. We all want the shot, but what I want to call in is more of those chats. So what kind of advice would you give for that?
I think like it's like our avatar. It's like my sim. And my sim used to be really easy to like go and do stuff with. It was like, oh, just like take a picture of my sim, like get the best photo of my sim on a beach and like skating on a beach or whatever that was, and like that would be enough. But it's like that person just thinks that sim is a skater on the beach, right? So we're saying like that avatar needs to people want to now feel more connected to their avatar, and people are understanding how much the digital world and the real world are connected at this point. Like there's not this huge like open hole of like what your avatar looks like online and you. It's like people are looking at your avatar and deciding if they like you or not. So that needs to feel closer to you than ever, which is why people overinvest their time and overinvest their life into finding this middle ground. And sometimes it doesn't match their personality. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's a bit and like you don't give a shit. Sometimes people have OnlyFans and they're playing a sexy person and they're not in real life. Like it's your decision to decide what your avatar is. But if you're someone who wants to have that connection of your avatar and your real life person to feel more like you want people to understand your avatar as you a little bit further, I would say the biggest thing to unlock is vulnerability. And when you're packaging the things that you want to share online, think of like how you could explain this in a vulnerable sense. So instead of being like, here's a clip of me surfing a 50-foot wave, it's like there's just a clip with music in the background. It would be like I've thought about this since I was 5 years old and I was terrified, and it's a clip of you before like freaking out, and then it's showing you on the wave. So it's like connecting it's like connecting the real truth of what you feel in these moments to the experience. So like a big part of things that go really viral and like have a bigger reach or people feel more connected to, or are, for example, if I bring surfing, I'm talking about surfing, for example, like a surf video or a surf clip of me will be like cool, like it'll do okay. But if I post something and I talk about how it is so scary to be out there and I'm still so intimidated every day, like, and it never gets easier, and that's why I love it. Like that's why I love surfing, is because like it's so humbling, you know? And like talking about that on the video or on the photo or whatever that is, I think is like what brings people closer to their avatar. Because like even if the avatar is doing something crazy, it's like, oh, we're still like real people. Like this isn't just like this thing to make you look cool. Like, and I think that's what like breaks down a lot of things on social, where people start to feel connected to influencers, connected to community leaders or businesses. And I think that's why businesses are shifting from being the brand, like the leaders and the voices, to influencers being the voices. They're the ones who are selling stuff now, not the brands, because the influencers are able to connect with people. Brands can't connect to people because they're a brand. At the end of the day, it's harder and harder for a brand to speak and talk about their vulnerability. They need a person to be the face of it to explain. So that's like a big thing that I do, is like I tend to be the face of it, being like, it's so hard being a CEO. It's rough. Like it's rough. It's lit, but it's rough, you know, like, and from the outside, if not, it would just be pictures of me having fun all the time and like, la, 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 la. Like it's hard. And I think people like the hard because it makes them feel less alone.
Right. I've noticed it seems like you've been surfing a bit more. Like a lot of times when I come down to Venice, like I see you I see you at the VSA and stuff. When did that come hand in hand with the skating? I feel like you've been pushing more into that lately, or? Yeah.
Surfing, I started like 7 years ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but like I was like very like I would surf like once a year. You know, it wasn't like a lot. It was like I just learned.
All you guys like Kiori and Audrey's gotten pretty good.
Yeah, we have a little crew. It's called Mambo. It's our little crew.
Oh, you have a name for that?
Yeah. There's 6 of us, and we're called the Mambo number 5.
Yeah, I'm probably leaving a few of you ladies out, but like
Shelly.
I've seen you, and I've ran into Audrey a couple times out in Malibu, and it's really rad to see. We never had that growing up. There was like a couple random rippers, but like it's crazy. You paddle out now, and it's like, well, Malibu's always kind of had women in certain spots at home, but how's that going for you? It seems
I love it, but then like I'll have the best day of my life surfing, and then I'll be like the very next day I'll be like, oh my god, I don't know how to surf. Like, and I talk to pros and people who've been doing this forever, and they're like, it doesn't ever change. Like that's how it will always be. And I'm like, that's insane. Like there's no apex to reach. Like it's always up to the ocean or the water or whatever you're in. And for that, like, I don't know, surfing for me has been this really cool thing, because skating, I always say this, like, if you do what you love, like this podcast, for example, like you really love doing it, it's rad. You have to take a piece of this experience and commodify it. You have to like take a chunk of this experience as you as a podcaster and put in a little package and sell it to the public in order for it to be successful. As a skateboarder, as a skater, as a community leader, whatever I do, right? I have to take a little piece of that and package it into a way to sell it to the public for people to come along the ride with me, come skate with me, be a part of this. Mm-hmm. And what that does is you have to basically kill that part of you. Like, you have to let that die because it's not for you anymore. It's like, that isn't for me, that's for other people. And I have to like find ways to sell that, and it ends up it not being fully for me. And I find those parts of it, I find the happiness in doing that because I have a mission of why I'm doing it and it matters to me. But I also like it was very sad. Like, I had to find my life outside of GRLSWIRL, really. Like, my skating experiences outside of it. Same happened in a lot of parts of my life. Surfing, I've been super careful. Like, surfing is for me. Like, I'm not looking to do group surfs. I'm not looking to like make a whole squad. It's like, surfing is something that I love doing. Like, it's what I do every day I wake up. It's like, I travel the world chasing surf. Like, I love it, you know? And it's because I like the experience of trying something new and playing. And it's like, I don't know, it's not for anybody else. Like, I'm just competitive. Like, I love it.
I noticed. See, at the breakwater, I'm like, yo, off my peak, bro. I kind of like,
I'm not good. I'm learning. Like, I'm like, there's days where I'm like, damn, like, I just like did a real carve. And there's days where I'm like, I don't know how I literally am falling on every wave. Like, and I just think it's like so addicting. It's fucking addicting.
Totally. I'm wondering, like, once you get it, it's pretty hard to shake. And it's rad seeing you guys out there. So I'm wondering, like, is there a big goal for you? I've seen like a couple bigger waves. I've seen like some trips. Like, would there be something in mind that you'd like to reach, like a shorter board or a bigger wave or a different style? Like,
I think I'd love my skateboarding style to be like fully transferable on a wave.
Okay.
Because like, I don't really want to surf waves like a performance surfer. I don't want to surf waves like a longboarder. Like, I want to surf like me. I'm like a ballerina on a skateboard. I like to be really like flowy. I want to lean into the waves kind of like in longboard turns, but also like do shortboard maneuvers. Like, my dream is to be able to do a layback both really well on a skateboard and on a wave. I'm like a style person. I'm so about style. I don't care about, for skateboarding, I don't care about tricks. I don't care about how crazy high you go on a wall. I don't give a shit. I'm all about style. Like, if you can like just be super stylish just in the way you move, I find that the most inspiring shit. Like, same with surfing. Like, I don't need someone to do an air for me to be impressed. It's like just the way they move on the wave is what's cool to me. So yeah. I'm like,
who are some of the surfers you look up to? Like,
Mikey February. Oh God, he's so good. He's so fun to watch. It's insane.
Saw him at the breakwater.
Oh yeah, I heard he was
winter.
there last winter. Yeah, Gabe said he like sprayed him and it was the best moment. Oh, he got sprayed by him and it was the best moment of his life. I was like, that's so funny.
Yeah, M-Feb. Anyone else?
Off of the top of my mind, I really like to watch like any vintage surfing, like stuff from the 70s where I see people like experimenting a little bit more. It's been really fun to just watch like old surf clips. I just got my hands on, oh my God, what's the name of it? Fuck, hold on, I'm gonna fuck up. My friends gave me a book. They just like they like had a remake of this film from Australia from the 70s, a surf film, something of the sun. Anyway, I'm fucking up. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like an amazing old 70s surf film from Australia.
Okay.
Do you know the name of it? Why am I looking up?
Are there any surfers that you remember there?
In the book? No. I don't know the names of the surfers.
So you just like old surfers?
Yeah, it's like all Australian old 70s surfing. There wasn't really like names of people in it.
It sounds like to me you want to ride like a twin, like you might want to check out like a twin fin.
Yeah, one day.
Because if you want to like that's what I'm seeing. Like, I feel like I've seen your skating, and like to me that's like, ooh, twinny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like carving, like twinny.
Yeah, I really like longboard style, but I don't want to be like Kuka Pinto or whatever his name is.
And then if you don't want to like rip,
yes,
then it's like, ooh, twinny, you know, and like that's just fun. Like that's just like I'm having the most fun.
That's like would be awesome. But right now I'm on like a little Channel Islands rocket wide, and it's been really fun because I can move on it like a skateboard. But I think I need to master like understanding carves a little bit better before I transfer over to twin fin, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm like definitely, I was just at Waco and I went twice for free because I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I literally, every time I go there for free, I'm like to the marketing director, like, I love you more than anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had like a really hard time. It was so interesting.
People love your message. They want to support you.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. When she's awesome, the head of marketing there. I sucked when I was there. The first time I went, I was ripping, and then this time I was there with all my friends who were ripping, and I got in my head. I didn't have my board. Like, I was just in my head. I was like, we surfed 100-something waves. I feel like I missed like 60 of them. Like half.
Wow, you must have been so tired after that.
Oh my god. I think I was tired, which is like a big part of it. It was in the middle of the tour. We surfed for 4 hours the first day, 6 the second, and 3 the next. It was I just like should have got out of the water and chilled. Like, I don't know why I didn't. But
you let it go.
It was just a testament to like, you can never, like, you just have to put in the work and put in the hours. And my sister recently,
I love that, dude.
She's like got so into surfing out of nowhere, and she's like she doesn't walk or work out. Like, she's not like an exercise girl. She
doesn't walk?
No, she like will avoid walking at all costs. Like, she's like she hates exercise. Okay. She hates that. She's a polar opposite of me, and she found a 100-foot wave and became addicted to it. All she talks about is surf. She's like, all she talks about. Yeah. Every time I go to see her, we suddenly have this thing in common. But now she's like a bro surf nerd, bro. Like, I'll show her something. She's like, oh yeah, that's Chopu. She's like, oh yeah. This is like, she like knows the names of waves. She's like, oh, did you check Surfline? I'm like, how do you know this? Hey. And so I got her on a surfboard this past weekend, or week that I was visiting. She was like, I just have a feeling I'm gonna be like really good at surfing. And I was like, oh, do you? Like, let's go try. And then we got on a surfboard, and she was like, she couldn't lay her body on it. She's like, you didn't tell me it was even that hard to lay on it. And I was like, I told you it's fucked up. It's like a fucked up thing how hard surfing is.
What if she was just like kind of like sick with it though?
I know.
Like, because like there's a couple of these Topanga kids I know, like they're like ripping, and I was like, dude, I haven't seen you guys. Like, how do I not know you guys? Like, there's like a crew, like 3 of them. Like, I don't know if you know these bros, like Maximus and Kaleo, like those I call them Groms. They're probably like 25.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, out of my way, Grom. Like, you know. They've been surfing for 3 years, and I'm not kidding. These guys are like ripping, and I'm like,
so annoying.
Bro,
that's so.
I would have thought, like, like to me, I'm like, oh, you guys, like, you know, you grew up. A lot of us cut from the same cloth. Like, you feel it, you see it, whatever. And he told me he's been surfing since COVID.
That's so annoying.
So what if your sister was just like,
no,
just going crazy, like walking to the nose and like, oh man.
I would lose my mind if that was the case. I'd be so happy for her, but it's like, I don't think that's the case.
It's cool for me to see you guys, and I know and talk to a lot of you around LA. Like, just have the bug in a serious way, and it's cool. I mean, like, you know, I'm trying my best to just not be that like old salty, like, oh man, you should have seen this wave 10 years ago. But I really come out there like,
no, it's so crowded, it's so gnarly, it's so hard. Like, imagine, I mean, you feel that way. Imagine as a girl who's a beginner, it's like you're scared. I'm even as a pretty good surfer, I get scared to even drop in. Like, you have to fight to drop in with people. Like, I watch Audrey. Audrey, like, sits in the most, like, she'll just paddle right next to somebody and, like, go, like, paddle battle people. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like it. I don't want to have to go. I'm here to, like, chill, not to be aggressive. Like, I don't like being aggressive, and you have to be. So, like, I can't even imagine, like, really beginner surfers right now. Like, it must, even, like, especially guys. Like, girls don't get yelled at as much. Like, being a beginner guy surfer must suck. Like, probably getting yelled at, made fun of. People are probably not nice to them. They just go to Sunset though, and nobody bothers.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really worry much about the crowd. Like,
I do.
If I don't know if that means
so much.
And maybe I should, but I don't.
I'm always thinking about
because I've just grown up like around the heaviest dudes, so like I'm just like.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What's some of your advice for like being out there?
I'm more like the quality of waves is like I look at it and I'm trying to be in this like positive mindset.
Yeah.
And then I go on to the beach and I'm like, oh no. What's my advice for what?
Like being more aggressive in the water, like not worrying about the lineup. Like if you've been around all these heavy dudes and now when you go out, like, are you just thinking, I'm going to get what's mine? Or like, what do you think?
That's the truth.
I'm going to get what's
That's
mine.
the truth. And
I know I need to get like that.
And I'm not trying to be like
that for real.
I will never like burn someone, especially like a kid or a child, but I will just maneuver in a way that like I won't be in a situation to burn or get like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just, like there's just a thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, but that doesn't really apply. I'm trying to humbly like but there's just, what I mean by heavy dudes is like, there's alignment, there's like,
positioning.
Yes. And like what I mean by like heavy dudes is like we kind of see each other and we kind of look out and
you
then
told me that
I'm not trying to like
you said the way to get on a wave is like first it's talent, like it's like being,
I told you this?
Yeah, you told me once. You were like, it was really good.
Oh gosh.
You said there's like the way the lineup works at Malibu is
oh gosh, yeah.
That is that there's first is like localism, like who you know, like friends is like first. Part of it, yeah. Second is talent. So like even if you don't know people, if you're really talented, they're still gonna let you in. And then third is like balls. Mm-hmm. And you're like, if you could have one of those three, you're pretty good.
But
I was like, oh shit, well I got none of those.
Well, yeah, I mean like there's like definitely a suggestion and like I'm all about that, like being calm if you're a beginner, like just like trying to have some kind of humility, but also like can't be worrying too much about what everyone else is doing too. And
so hard.
Yeah. And so like hard. Maybe, I would love to help with this because I love the mindset part of what you're doing with GRLSWIRL. I love the mindset part of like surfing, and I still deal with this. Like I'm not from Oahu, but I really like surfing there.
Yeah.
So there is a mindset that I have to have, a humble but also
aggressive. What animal would you equate it to?
Oh God, an animal?
Yeah.
I don't think about things like that.
Well, like if you had to, like humble, aggressive, like.
I think that part of the Hawaii stuff is honestly is like it's that I don't really have rights there as far as like my place necessarily, especially on like a crowded day at a wave like Pipeline. But
have you surfed Pipeline?
Yeah.
Really? So
yeah.
Scary.
What?
Because that's so scary. Did you drop on Pipeline? Like, were you able to get waves?
Yeah, I have clips and I have clips too. Yeah, I have like a bunch of clips and photos too. Yeah.
God.
Oh.
Was it so scary?
It's honestly one of those things that I felt like I've just been waiting to do.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Did you wear a helmet?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, this is like. Don't ask me that again.
Okay, sorry.
But I don't know if there would be an animal. But I think like I get it. Like new surfers are anxious, new skaters are anxious. Like to me, it's like you said, just those embodiment practices, grounding, taking some deep breaths. Like, I don't really know. Like, but I would love to, unpack that further. But I think like for someone who like, when you like that's. We see each other like dudes that like are from the beach or like that surf at a level, like we just see each other, and then otherwise like we see you guys too, and like you're our friends, But if it's like firing, like, you know, have you ever heard the saying like no friends on a powder day?
Yeah, I have. That's why I don't go to those spots that they say that. I just hide at the other spots or on the inside or away from people. Because, yeah, I'm all about, like, having the most fun. But also, I've been lucky enough to score some amazing waves on places that are, like...
Yeah, you guys are scoring. I see, and I comment and, like, see your stuff. Like, Val, like, and you guys were on surfing some big left, I think, in, like, El Sal or maybe Costa Rica. Or Mexico? Was it Mexico? Could have been all of them.
All of them. She went to Baja and got a big... She surfs big waves in Baja. I want her to become... As my team rider, I'm like, I need you to start... like really going into big wave life because she loves big waves. Like I'm so calling sick. It. I really think she would be like a really good big wave surfer. Like I see that for her in the future.
Let's get over. Val, if you're watching, camera's off.
Oh, okay. It's just us talking about.
Here's an interesting story because like, oh no, here's an interesting story. I'm like at Pipeline it was a smaller day. Okay. And Jamie O's out there. And, you know, like, I wouldn't say, like, you know, I know Jamie that well or whatever, but he came out to, this is the cool thing about surfing. He came to Malibu this summer and, like, got into some shit and some clip he took went super viral and he was, like, burned my buddy and, like, flipped him over. You know, we all know each other at Venice. We all know each other at Malibu. So I was out there and another buddy, you know, it's all, like, I'm talking to this dude who I know really well and then, you know, whatever. I end up, like, chatting with Jamie at the peak of the lineup for, like, 20 minutes. Just about like that situation at Malibu. It was like really funny. And at one point I turn around, little 6-footer, like, and at one point I turn around, the entire lineup just like parts like the
Red Sea.
Like the Red Sea.
Wow.
And I was like,
wait, why? Because of Jamie?
Because I'm talking to Jamie.
Oh my
God.
At
the King of Pipe at the peak.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking around. We're just in a conversation, like locked in. Waves are fun, whatever. 6 foot. 2-foot Hawaiian, but like maybe like
that's insane.
And I'm going, whoa, that was crazy. Because normally I'm like
fighting for it.
Yeah, I mean it's not like it's a dangerous wave. So like if you're in the spot, you're in the spot. That's the thing. It's not like crazy like, but I'm not kidding. Like it was like out of this dude's way type of thing.
Wow.
Only because I had
that second.
So everyone else, obviously, if you knew, everyone else out there that day just thought that you know I was this guy, and I was like. Okay, I'll go. You know, like I'm going. You know what I mean?
That's insane.
Okay.
That's how I tore my ACL. Is me and Jamie were skating together.
Oh yeah.
And we slammed into each other. We were skating for a Carver film, and we slammed into each other.
Oh, that's right. He has like a Carver deal or something.
Yeah. He felt so bad. I was like, I'm fine. And then I saw him a few months later, and he was like, "You tore your ACL, didn't you?" And I was like. So yeah, but he's awesome. Good homie.
Dope. Yeah, he seemed like he's like that good homie. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah.
He was like awesome with everything that happened, but he had to be the big dog. You got to be the big dog to be at Pipeline for real.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Like yeah, like you could have a chat with him 1 minute, and then the next day it's like 8 foot and proper, and it's like fuck off. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so he wouldn't talk to you the next day?
No, I mean that never happened. That didn't happen. You're just saying
that's just the
But
vibe.
I'm just saying, like.
Wow. I can't wait for you to send me all these clips. I want to see.
You.
I never saw any of them. Is it on your Instagram? I
have all the clips on my most of the clips on my Instagram.
Okay, I'm gonna look.
Yeah.
Okay. Sick.
Oh yeah. Grateful.
On your avatar is doing good surfing.
Yeah, I can't surf, but he can.
His only avatar.
But there's some clips of me at Waimea. There's some clips of me at Pipe.
Wow.
It's great. I'm super happy. It's like bucket list stuff, you know, for me to get some waves. But also like it just feels like yeah, of course, because of the where I came from. Just like whatever you're doing feels like I'm gonna like have like a 501c.
501c, yeah, for sure.
Thanks so much, Lucy. And when you get back, if you want to come to yoga, I'll let you know like a good class to come to. That's not like Yancey going insane.
4,000.
And eventually, hopefully, you can come there. But otherwise, let's get some waves soon when you're back. And yeah, safe travels.
Thanks. I'm
Cool.
going to actually my favorite place ever to surf, Nosara. So I'm so excited.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah. Surf my little brains out for a week for work. I'm teaching a skate retreat, but I get to surf while I'm there.
Amazing. There's a lot of yoga there, I think, and a lot of like yoga retreats.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my friend who does like she's like a love and yogi kind of thing. She does a retreat there like twice a year.
Yeah, it's lit. I love it there. I would live there. I could live there.
Cool.
I love Nosara.
Okay, well, we got to cut it short, but thanks again, Lucy. Boom.
I'm so excited to watch these videos. Bye.
Bye.